Yeah, you could do the call under the call.
Okay, I'd like to call to order a regular scheduled meeting of December 8th, 2022. We have a roll call, please.
President Cook,
Here.
Commissioner Viedke,
Here.
Commissioner Carlson,
Here.
Commissioner Walls,
Here.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Okay, need approval of the minutes for November 10th, 2022 for the committee of the whole meeting, as well as the regular scheduled meeting. All in favor of approving those, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So 5-0 approval. Next is public communication. Do we have any comments from the audience? If you come on up to the microphone and
Yes, please.
come up to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. My name is Tom Hayes. My wife Kathleen and I are residents of about 30 years now in the village. I have something I'd like to bring up to you tonight. We live on the west side of homes that fronts the Fountain Square Park. And as I've seen over the years, it's becoming more and more of a dog park. People are letting their dogs off the leashes and letting them roam freely. I'm not a dog hater. I raised 17 Dobermans in a farmhouse at one time, so I know dogs pretty well. But I think we've come to the point where I would ask your involvement, your engagement in looking into this a little further. I would like to see us adhere to the regulations, not only of the state, but as stated by the town of Village of Elk Grove under animal nuisances, item 656. Also under your own regulations, 668. Glad to read them to you, but at the end of the day, to let your dog roam freely is a liability to us all. I think you've got a park there with a lot of young kids. You've got a water park. You've got play equipment. There has been one incident in the past few years of a dog bite to another dog and some other issues. I wouldn't bring it up to you unless I thought it was starting to get out of hand, and I would ask for your ability to look into that.
Okay, thank you. Have you called the park district when you observe this? Is it like just one dog, or is it like several dogs there at one time?
It's 2 or 3 owners per day.
Okay,
Yeah, it's become like a regular thing now.
okay.
So, and again, if we need another dog park, that's fine, but
We don't have one.
We don't have a
not
different-
along the path of my home and the other homes that are right next to that. Plus, I bring up, you have a park that's very much used by a lot of folks. I live on Atlantic Lane, so my backyard fronts that park all year long. So.
Okay.
Tom, have you ever called in the administration building or anyone to let them know?
I have.
Okay.
I have, and they said, well, is there a problem going on right now? I said, no, but this is going on.
Yeah,
So,
you're off leash, and we have that
Yeah.
problem in a lot of parks. So,
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you look at the.
is there a time of day that you could? Because we might be able to pinpoint better, and then we could send people out there.
Well, the 2 biggest times of the day the dog walkers need to walk their dogs are in the morning before work, right? So it's usually early.
Okay.
So, probably before any employees are out there at, 7 a.m. in the morning. And then, in the afternoon is usually when it
Okay.
happens as well. And then my other concern is if this continues, there may be some liability as well on home values if this becomes a problem. So put that out there as well.
We could maybe look at some additional signage out there too.
Well, that's the.
I know we have in the one big sign with the rules that says it, but,
It's about yay big, about 20 rules.
Right.
And the
Right.
line item that says your dog must be leashed is about that big.
right, but I'm talking about a separate sign, maybe
Well, I would
Yes.
recommend that,
maybe some signage.
suggest that, it's the law, either we're going to adhere to it or not. You stated, not only in the village's ordinances, but your own, so, let's just consider which way we're going to go on this.
Okay, any other comments?
Mine would be, I would like to see it enforced, not just at his park, but
Right.
any asset that we have in the community. Dogs shouldn't be doing that, regardless if we have a dog park or not. So as I was sitting here, I was thinking, well, gosh, how do you police this? I can't send, rangers there, I'm not gonna call the cops, do you have an employee go there? And then I'm like, all right, well, maybe the residents can take a picture of the offender, but then I'm like, okay, you don't wanna get the resident involved. So then my next thought was, put a camera out there. Put some kind of camera in a strategic area where this is happening. Now we have the evidence that they're breaking the law, and it gives you something to move forward on, either within the park district or with the police department.
Right.
So that would be my suggestion. If you can't come up with some type of patrol system or reporting system, that we look and see how much a camera, and it wouldn't have to just be for dogs. It may deflect some liability for vandalism, theft, anything else at the same time. So if he's thinking it's a serious issue, which we also have to make sure, anybody can come to the microphone, let's just assume he's correct. But if it is a serious issue, we probably should be moving forward with something to protect ourselves. That's my thought.
I would recommend to you as well, if it's happening in my neighborhood, it's probably happening in others as well. I'm not sure people understand that there are fines and penalties anywhere from $25 to $500 per incident that can be assigned. It's in your own ordinance.
Tom, I'll add, and I'll let the commissioners add. In my experience here, typically if you find the people with their dogs off leash and you let them know, they're usually pretty receptive. So I think that's part of it, is catching some of the people just saying, hey, you can't have your dog off leash. Most people, in my experience, have been very receptive. I think, probably what's happening, Tom, is people are getting used to not having their dogs on leash, and they're saying, oh, this is great, So-
Exactly, and hey, I'm not looking to be punitive here to anyone that's, enjoying their animal. It's just,
Right.
I think it's something you need to be concerned about
Yep.
before it becomes a real problem, and God forbid something happens, and you have a $2 or $3 or $10 million lawsuit against you because the dog is attached to them.
Because actually, the same thing, it's been brought to our attention that there's 3 or 4 families that are doing that along the golf course now, unleashing their dog, and we're having a problem with that, so it may
They're
have
German
become-
Shepherds too. They're great dogs, but not everybody is a dog owner. And I don't care how long your leash is, you gotta have some way to pull a dog back
Right.
if need be. You could have a 25-foot leash, 25-yard leash, I don't care.
And so maybe we've
But as
been
long
too
as you can
nice
get
with
the
the
dog
lines,
out.
what I'm saying, even at the golf course,
Right.
the rangers see it and you report it,
Right.
but, we're not pursuing it, maybe it's time to actually pursue it, not just at his area, but wherever we're seeing violators, that's all.
I think you're posting a larger sign and making the community aware is the first step.
Yeah.
What should I expect for follow-up then, if I could ask?
I don't want you to give your phone number on air, so if you want to write it down, or Kathy, if you want to get his phone number, I can follow up with you and give you an update.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
Unless you want
Thank
your
you.
phone.
Sir?
Kurt, would you like to, sir?
Yeah.
Good evening, and my name is Gökhan Çukurova. I am an Itasca resident, actually. My son comes to Elk Grove to swim 5 days, 6 days sometimes. And I had a concern, and I brought it up to a pool manager, and then went up to the building director, I believe, Mr. Collier. Jeff Collier.
Yeah.
So we spoke on the phone, we agreed upon a follow-up and what he could do to solve the problem before I get into the problem. And nothing has happened. I followed up with him on November 15th, and since then I haven't heard from him. The problem is that it's still going on. As you know, you have a very beautiful facility over there, and your swim team is crowded, busy, and you have great coaches, but your family dressing rooms aren't big enough to accommodate more than 4. It gets really hectic over there. And a lot of times we find ourselves to use the men's locker. And I brought up to him that a lot of people walk around complete naked. Yes, it is lockers, you gotta change, I totally understand that. but from one end to the other end, and showering with the curtains open. As I said, so many kids use that room because they can't fit in there. Or a lot of people, a lot of people working, kids coming to swim practice, they are brought by their mothers. Mothers can't go in there with the kids. And it's kind of an unwanted thing to let my wife wait outside when my son is trying to find a spot to dress up, when we know there are all age of adult males walking around and my kid is facing to somebody else's penis or rear end. And I actually didn't mean to bring him today. We just had so much fun at the pool. I wasn't gonna have enough time to drop him off at home and then make it here on time. So what Mr. Collier and I discussed, that I know some people would try to push back as if somebody is pushing against their freedoms. And I believe that if this is LA Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, 99% of the attendees are adults. That's one thing. But we know that there are more than a dozen less than 10-year-old kids using these rooms between the age time of 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And I said, at least could you warn people with a sign saying, please avoid walking around or change in the showers or the bathroom stalls, something like that. My biggest disappointment to the date is that I haven't received any response. I even dropped them off and went to the front desk and had the front desk call him, and he didn't have time. I understand it's a big facility, the man is busy probably, but no follow-ups, no nothing since November 15th. And I'm bringing this to your attention, hoping that you discuss, you do something to prevent this, or do something a little bit more than what we discussed on the phone with him to protect our children from this. Maybe install separate foldable changing, like porta potty style tents, something.
Well, I thought we had a family changing area, so
You
that's
do,
not.
you do. What I'm saying is that you have a very popular swim team. You know, some days we have more than 30 kids.
In the family area?
Well,
In the team.
Yeah.
So they don't all fit.
they don't fit in the
There's,
family.
there's no way, because practice is from 5 to 6. At 6 o'clock, everybody's rushing into that room. There's no way that everybody will be able to use it. So more than half of the families use the men's locker room. So again, this is not a huge issue, but I thought this is something to bring to your attention, because I am definitely not the only parent concerned with this. I have spoken to several parents, what they do, what do you do when this happens, what do you do when your wife brings, and stuff like that. So this is not something I witnessed. It's not like, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So just bring it to your attention. Hopefully you can have a discussion and see what you can do to prevent this. And I believe the good in people. I don't believe people are intentionally just walking around and exposing themselves. No, I don't believe that. But if we remind people to be a little bit more courteous, a little bit more considerate of the youth from 5 to 10-year-olds, probably they will pay a little bit more attention. So, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Nice boardroom, by the way.
And if you can also leave your name and number.
I did.
Okay.
I left my name.
But we will have either Jeff or Ben will contact you.
I will
Tiffany, okay,
I didn't leave my phone number here.
okay.
Do you want me to leave?
No,
my
that's
phone?
great.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, leave your phone number, so,
Please. What?
thank you.
Oh, can you please put
Okay.
your name?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Correspondence, do any of the commissioners have any correspondence for staff? Okay, recommendations for approval, we got quite a few things here. So, first is approval of the 2023 budget as presented at the December 1st, 2022 special meeting.
Thank you so much.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, got a motion, second, any discussion? Okay. Can we have a, do we have to give the amount here? Do we have the amount from my?
No, we'll have a ordinance
It was, okay.
that'll be on display, that'll be ready for the next board meeting.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Walls?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Next is approval of the Athletic Advisory Board member. I move that this individual be appointed to serve a 2-year term as an advisory board member, the Elk Grove House Baseball Advisory Board, Tracy Stendardo.
Second?
Stendardo. Motion and a second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Walls?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes, and welcome.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Next is approval of pay application for Durabuild fence for the Fox Run Split Fence Project in the amount of $132,385. So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? What was our budget on that, by the way?
This was under budget, I believe, just under budget. We did not do section,
It's under budget because we
Yes.
rearranged what we were actually.
we did not do
gonna
a
pay.
couple sections, correct.
Okay.
I was getting to that point.
Is the old one gonna get torn down eventually?
I think the old one's not, the new one's up.
No, not on par 5.
No, that one is not, there's not plans to take that down. I think it's just, I mean, for the most part, the one on pole 4, that's the one that we did not do. We didn't do 4, or there's another section that we did not do.
Right, so we're gonna just let that rot away until it's,
Well, there's a chain link fence in some of
I
that
understand,
portion,
but-
yeah.
the fence, the split rail looks terrible.
I can have Jeremy look at that and, yeah, we can take it down.
It won't cost much to just, you could probably push it over.
I'll have Jeremy and his staff look at
The
that.
problem is, what we were experiencing before you got on, when you say it won't cost much, it's actually gonna cost a lot because lumber and all the prices, it's skyrocketed, so.
He just wants it
You're
out.
talking about just doing
Moving
a
it.
air
No,
or
get rid
replacement?
of
He
it.
said just remove
It's
it.
not supposed to be there.
There's a chain link fence
Yeah,
that's
I
like
know,
8
yeah.
feet tall,
I know where.
but you can't get
And
rid
the
of it.
thing is falling down, so just push it over and get rid of it.
I'll have Jeremy and his staff look at it.
Sounds like a work order.
Okay. Anything, any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Walls?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes,
President Cook?
Yes. Okay, the next item, before we ask for a motion to approve it, I guess we can ask for a motion, but we didn't, that was on our committee of the whole to discuss, and we didn't get to it. So, who was gonna fill us in?
I'll give you some background. So this is a recommendation for our fleet of 75 carts at Fox Run Golf Course. There is supply chain delays that are causing some constraints for the vendor. So in order to ensure delivery in the spring of 2024, we need to get our order in line sooner than later. So he's recommending by the end of the year, our pricing would be locked in. There would be no payment that would be required until delivery, but this would get our place in line for production. Staff is recommending an in-kind replacement. We currently have 75 Yamaha AFI carts, and we are looking to replace them with the same cart.
You said the price is locked in, does that include the trade-in amount?
Yes.
So now they won't come back and say, oh, these are all beaten up or worn out, and
No,
We're not gonna no longer give you the trade value.
Which one?
Correct. So it would be the first one there, Commissioner Carlson, right on the top. I included other quotes on there. We looked at, in the back,
This one.
it would be the very first one for 176 and 100.
And does this
I included-
also
go ahead.
include,
This guy, this is 176.
transferring of the GPS that we currently have on our carts to the new carts?
Yes, if we choose to keep them.
If we choose that one?
Correct.
They would,
I included an option. We don't need to decide that today. That's something we can discuss down the road,
okay.
is an option
Where they have
of
a
adding
screen.
a built-in
Yeah.
GPS screen.
We don't have to decide
And
tonight.
these all have the USB power ports?
So on all the quotes is, yes, the windshield, USB power cord, power ports, information holder, sand and seed bottle, fleet numbers, and your bumper.
Did we look at any additional options when you were looking at this, as far as I know, they have accessories for the back of the cart to cover your golf, when there's rain out, you know, like a little,
We looked into them, they have those available, we've never, it does increase the cost, and basically customer feedback is, for the most part, that when it is raining significantly, the carts come in. So, the cost benefit ratio is not in line. So I did also look at other options, electric carts, a little more fuel efficient cart and quieter cart, as well. And I included those prices in there as well. So right now, the cost is significantly higher for those.
and
So-
did we decide on a color?
We were leaning towards green. Right now, the four that are included are red, white, beige, and green. We currently have red. Green is nice. It shows that we have invested in new carts and have new carts. So when you switch colors, the other two options are a little too
Plain.
plain.
They show
and-
too much,
Yeah,
too.
or,
Yeah.
yes, light, and they show a
You
little too much
can't
wear
even
and
pay
tear.
for it.
You can have more, yes, there are more options. I included those in there. They cost more per cart.
So we're not getting pinstriping,
No, it's just same thing that we have now, but green,
no flames and everything.
no flames.
Just
And
under.
Can you refresh, or do you know what we paid on our last 5-year?
155.
Yeah, it's 155.
Okay, so I thought it was like close to this.
Yeah.
It's very
They
close.
haven't
It's
really gone up
not.
to,
So the trade-ins have gone
Trade-ins,
well,
up very
yeah.
high. And
Because we
Yamaha,
budgeted
yeah, 'cause I
176.
saw Club Card was like a third of the traded, they were going
Correct.
a lot lower.
We budgeted 176, we had a bid for 175, and then this came in at 155, and we went with that.
Yeah,
we've been very happy with them. I mean, there's always
Customers
stuff
like
that
this
goes wrong
version,
with
by the
them.
way.
Good.
They like everything about it, especially the dashboard.
The middle
It's so much
dashboard.
nicer, so.
okay. Any other
Hopefully it'll
discussion?
be enhanced even more.
Any other questions on this idea or purchase?
No, the only thing I want other commissioners to think about it too, and staff, because you said we would talk about it later, we're talking about this screen, that's an extra 33,000. I guess my only point is, instead of every cart having it, you know, why not just half the carts, so that not every single person that rides in the cart has to pay for it when it may not be beneficial to them. Because you talked about increasing the cart rate to accommodate this potential extra, but you're asking everybody that gets into the cart to do that when the benefit may not be to everybody. So if you had half the fleet, when a guy wants it, here's your cart, and if you don't want it, here's your other cart. That's just something to think about it when you go to make this decision. That's all I'm saying.
We'll talk about it. I'll make a note to bring that up.
Okay, then, with that being said, I need approval for purchase of 75 Yamaha Drive AFI gas-powered carts from Harris Golf Cars through the Buy Board, National Joint Purchasing Agency, including trade-in amount for a total purchase price of $176,100.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes,
Commissioner Wells,
Yes?
President Cook.
Yes. Okay, next is approval of an agreement and execution and delivery thereof to Serpro for Elk Grove Village, Illinois, for the VAC system repair, the amount of $79,605.60.
So moved. Second.
Okay, this is relating to the cleanup for the flood.
This is the replacement of the HVAC system for the basement, correct, for the flood.
Okay, is that
This will be covered by insurance.
insurance? Okay. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wells?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Okay, next is approval of pay request from Serpro for the HVA system repairs in the amount of $37,000.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Roll call?
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wells?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Next is approval of pay request from Burke LLC for services and materials for the Fox Run Golf Links Hole number 18, repairs in the amount of $144,719.
So moved. Second.
And how did those turn out?
The repairs, that's great.
Okay.
They're gonna come back out in the spring and do another check on anything, but looks great.
What kind of standard warranty comes with that? A year, couple years when you're talking about this?
Probably a year, if that. There's no official, but they'll come out and he's gonna look at it, make sure there's any issues, and they'll take care of it. But Bill, there's not really a written warranty. It's assuming it should last for a long, long time, but yeah, there's no official warranty that I'm aware of, Mark. I don't know.
Okay. We have a roll call, not a roll call. We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Wells?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Okay, next is approval, payout request from Upland Design Limited for professional services of the Marshall Park redevelopment project in the amount of $72,518.25.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
We're gonna review,
Oh, go ahead.
was this on the committee of the whole to review?
Yep.
But that's different.
Oh,
This is just
my
the payout.
apologies. I got you. That's the payout. All right, I got you.
That's payout.
10-4.
Okay,
you ask
roll
for
call,
me?
please.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't know if you'd ask one of mine.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wells?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Next is approval of payment application number 5 from Tran for materials for the Rainbow Falls Boiler Replacement Project in the amount of $41,000.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wells?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Next is acceptance of the total base bid, including alternate from Multi-System Management Company of Chicago, Illinois, for custodial services in the amount of $26,490.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? And Ben can share a little bit about,
Yeah, so we identified areas of the district that custodial services needs help with, and one of those areas is Fox Run, and we'd like to, in this proposal, include 7 days a week at Fox Run facility, and then there's various facilities. Tiffany might know better than me, I can't remember, but there's a lot of ancillary facilities that we need.
The main two are Fox Run, this building here, and then the amounts at Pirates Cove and Rainbow are very nominal.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking under $2,000 for each of those facilities, very small.
And the reason we brought this to the board, because we went out to bid, obviously this is under my threshold, but I feel like this is something we went out to bid and you guys should see and approve, because we would like to, if it goes well, continue to extend their agreement for the next 2 years, up to 3. So I thought, let's just have you guys approve this.
and this was the low bid.
Yeah,
And just to clarify, the 3 years you mentioned, that in year 2, the amount would be $30,324, year 3, $30,935. We're not voting on those extensions at this point, we're just
No.
voting on this year
just
1.
year 1.
If we decide to extend it, we would vote.
We'll
on
have
those
to come because
individually.
those thresholds are
Okay,
above.
okay.
For this, we will, because, yeah, right, Attorney Hoffman?
So theoretically, we can rebid those, see if we get a lower bid in the second year.
Well, we already did the competitive process, so you don't want to, you know,
Unless something changes.
well, if we don't like them, yeah, then we have,
Yeah.
then we,
Okay.
yeah.
But right now, we're on committee for 1 year.
Yeah, I feel, I mean, these numbers came in fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, Fox Run just, what was 6 days this last, 6 months, what we did last year, what was the 25,000 just for,
Yeah, it's over
6 days a
2,000,
week.
it was 25,000 for
So-
the year.
it seems competitive, we're gonna try it. I think it's a good solution to solve some of the gaps.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wells.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes. Okay, next is approval of a permanent transfer of not to exceed $1.5 million from the corporate fund to the capital fund to be used for capital improvement purposes. Said transfer to be effective as of the end of the fiscal year, December 31st, 2022, pursuant to the authority granted Article 5-1 of the Illinois Park District Code.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Brad, you want to share a little bit about why we're,
Yeah, so we talked about this at the budget meeting, but just to give you guys a refresher, the district received, dollars from personal property replacement tax above what we budgeted, and above what the state expected. So that's the majority of what this transfer is for. The reason why we're not settling on a specific dollar amount today is the delay in the second property tax bill. Once those bills have now been distributed and once collections come in, I'll come back to you guys and get a solidified number on that transfer. But we need to do the approval before the end of the fiscal year.
and the decision to push it, move it into capital fund was due to the fact that we have capitals that, additional capitals that we can either move ahead on or add to certain projects that we have.
Correct. We discussed it in personal property tax historically, or personal property replacement tax has historically been at a very steady level. During the last couple of years has spiked. We don't see that spike as sustainable, so we want to keep those dollars out of our operational budgets. It's a great use to offset expenses in our capital fund. So we have a lot of large projects coming up that this money will be utilized for.
Right, okay. Any other questions? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Welch,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes. Next is approval of transfer of anticipated unexpended funds between line items in the corporate fund in an amount sufficient to cover estimated unforeseen expenses in the transferee line item.
So moved.
Second.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, I'll give some background on this. So
English
we did
on
this-
that?
Yeah, we did this a couple years ago in the golf fund. I'm not sure we'll need to do it in the corporate fund or the rec fund, but, seeing how this is our last board meeting before the year, this is basically taking allocated dollars within our fund and reallocating those within the fund to offset overages. The overages I'm talking about right now are utilities. We budgeted a certain dollar amount for utilities. The utilities prices spiked throughout the year, and we are in danger of exceeding our appropriation. So, none of our funds are in danger. We're not projecting them to go over budget at the current time, but maybe in a category. So we'll take these unspent dollars that we have allocated and reallocate them into this line item.
Okay. Do we need to vote on this as one motion or?
Well, you have three separate ones on the agenda.
Yeah.
My question is, as to the detail of this, that would be in the discretion of Brad Scholes, presumably, because it's not identifying what line items or what dollars, but you've got the basic rationale for it. So I think maybe it would be good to amend the motion to say, if this is what you want, as determined by our finance director.
Okay. Who made the motion?
I think I made the motion. I think, there.
Yeah, we
Okay.
did.
So Bob, do you want to amend the motion to include?
Sure, I amend the motion.
As outlined by?
As outlined by Attorney Hoffman.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
No, it'd be as outlined by Brad Schultz.
Well, what he said.
Yeah, but she's gonna put, so what's the motion?
The motion would be to amend the existing motion by adding at the end of it, as determined at the discretion of our finance director, Brad Schultz.
Okay. I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wells?
Yes?
President Cook?
Yes. Next item is approval of transfer of anticipated unexpended funds between line items in the recreation fund in the amount sufficient to cover estimated unforeseen expenses in the transferee line item as the direction,
Yeah, discretion.
and determination of our finance director, Brad.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, got a motion second. Any questions on this one? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wells?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. And lastly, approval and transfer of anticipated unexpected funds between line items of the golf fund in the amount sufficient to cover estimated unforeseen expenses in the transferee line item, and this will be at the discretion of our finance director, Brad Schultz.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wells?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Okay, got that done. Let's go into committee reports. Capital projects, Mr. O'Malley.
Committee did not meet, but tonight we set up an appointment with Mark and Bob and myself. We'll be meeting on the first meeting in January, our only meeting in January, the 12th. And based on you having a committee, the whole meeting or not, we are scheduling ourselves 1 hour before whatever you might schedule that evening. So
Okay.
we'll stay in touch. That's it.
Finance Committee, Commissioner Walsh.
No report.
Committee of the Whole, we met as a Committee of the Whole on December 1st, 2022. And at that time, we discussed the 2023 budget. We discussed salary ranges for 2023, as well as the merit pool increases for 2023, as well as giving our director authorization to hire a full-time custodial and a full-time curator for the Historical Museum. And then for December 8th, we met tonight at 5:30 p.m. We discussed, the entire meeting was discussing updating the employee policy manual. We got through that, and I think that was it, right?
Correct.
That's all we got through. So that ends my report. Any questions? Okay. Athletic Committee, Commissioner Bianchi.
No report.
Okay. Golf Committee, Commissioner Carlson.
Yes, we'd like to welcome our new general manager, Alex. Forget the last name.
Gelbart.
Say that again.
Gelbart?
Gelaward?
Gelbart.
Gelabart.
Monday.
December 12th, right? Okay. And I'd like to encourage everyone to come out and use the simulators. And to not forget December 23rd, Rob Postman.
Correct.
And that ends my report.
Okay, I just had a question. Brad, you were gonna get the board update each month on different events going on.
Yes.
Do we have something for December?
Ooh, I did not provide that.
Okay,
I'll
if
get
you could
for
send that,
Yep,
email
I'll
that to
email
us.
that out to you guys. I apologize.
Okay, appreciate it. Any other questions for the government?
We did it.
Okay. Youth Committee, Commissioner Carlson.
No report.
Adult Center, I have no report. And we got staff reports from the directors. What do
You guys got any
I
reports?
have a report. I just wanted to update you guys. We had a auction of all the surplus items that we had worked with marketing to put a link out to anybody that was interested in bidding on these items, and we were able to raise $6,381 in total sales of all the surplus items, both grounds and 140 Lively.
Okay, great. Do you want to cover this time, do we want to do the discussion on Marshall Park? Presentation?
I was gonna say under old business, but it's up to you.
Either way.
You ready to do it now? As long as you're up?
Sure.
Okay. This was originally on schedule for the committee of the whole for tonight. We didn't get to it, so we're just going to do it now.
Are we gonna be able to usurp Channel 6?
Yeah.
I think Brad's got me covered there. You guys have the information in your packet. I was just going to start out with the
Sorry.
with the slides that you have in your packet. Just to
Do we
review.
know if Channel 6 will be able to display this to the public? Will they be seeing this?
They will not,
They will not be able to show this?
No.
they are not tied into the television.
But they can't show it off that camera?
I don't want to speak for them.
Okay, Channel 6, if you're able to do that, that would be great. If not, it will be on our website in the near future for you to look at. Okay,
Yeah, we can post that one.
go ahead.
So this kind of covers the Marshall Park project, playground, splash pad, and fitness area. This was the overview. Not a lot has changed since you guys have seen it last. This is the rendering of the building structure that's there. It's basically a cedar planked restroom with 4 restrooms, security lighting. The roof is going to be this blue color with gray posts. I wanted to mention that we have the option to be able to have a better siding than just the cedar. I put up a couple of examples of, so this isn't the building that we were proposing specifically, but this is just the regular cedar siding. And then we have the option where we could put limestone surround.
So I would say, Commissioner, there isn't a cost to that. If you go to the last page of the budget summary, not the summary, I'm sorry, the last page of the detailed budget, which
Page
is
7.
yeah, page 7.
It's on this, isn't it on the summary page on the bottom as an alternate?
Yeah, maybe, I'm sorry, just go to, just go to the summary.
Dollar rack,
Yeah,
limestone siding.
I mean, to me, it's worth the expenditure because,
The maintenance on that.
yeah, cedar's, 2 reasons, I think. Aesthetically, it looks way much better. And then the other thing, maintenance on cedar is, you're chasing that year one. So you don't have to decide now, but we'll bring it up when we, I just wanted you to be aware of that. There's this alternate cost.
So then, these are the seats, the seating areas near the north side of the splash pad. We have picnic tables, umbrella seating. These aren't necessarily to the district standard, so I would want to work with Upland to be more consistent with the other parks. I'll work with them on that. More of the seating, Adirondack chairs, blocks, so there's plenty of space to sit down and get a little bit of respite.
Yeah, okay.
And then here's the playground itself with the dynamo feature that we had talked about. The, what was it called? The dragonfish and the 2 towers.
Is that the one that was originally budgeted in the budget?
No, this is the one that Upland had designed, and we have at the end of this, I have another couple of slides that have options that we can choose from.
Okay, the more expensive option.
Yeah.
But this was the original.
The base one, then we talked about maybe putting additional money in.
Right, this was the general idea, and then, like I said, we have, I can just.
Let me
skip
just
right to it.
clarify, Mark. No, remember you guys came, the Dragonfish was by itself, and you guys said, let's put some towers in.
Okay.
So this is what they came up with. They were concerned about the budget, as you can see, that some of the other towers are double the price, so they came up with this. They liked this from the perspective, and I agree with them, that this has a lot of play value. If you don't like the dome shape, not dome, but more of a triangle or house, you can make those rounded, so they have some flexibility to make it look like a more rounded. But those offer a lot more, I think, play value than even some of these more expensive structures.
This was the structure that was included in the
Budget,
budget.
currently.
Right.
So then,
And the other options we're gonna look at.
here, I'll just show them to you right away.
Okay.
Here's the other option. This is gonna add an additional 390. Like Ben had said, it doesn't necessarily have all the play value that the original one, but it does really have a wow factor that I think.
I will say this is tall. This is pretty cool too. I mean, you're paying for the lot of the metal that's on it. In my understanding, talking with Upland, anytime you bend the metal, it's just the stuff is more expensive. And they're seeing 30% increase in costs. And I think we're going to start to hear that a lot more in projects, that things are going up, pricing's going up. I think that slide alone is like $100,000. That red slide, the PVC material. So.
And then option 3. It's a little bit different. This was an additional 340,000 to what was proposed in the original budget. Just a different look. And then option 4.
I like that one.
This one's
This is actually at Melrose Park, or River Trails.
River Trails.
River Trails Park District.
This is pretty cool structure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but you're paying for it. This is the wow.
So it's just different sightlines of that. Dynamo playground. Like Ben said, it has a lot of play value.
Are those the colors that you're planning on going with, the green and the blue? So if you would choose another option, would it be green and blue?
Yeah, I think so, but I would put it back at you guys if you had any opinion on what color should be. This was just something that Upland had picked out. And then the other features, like I said, plenty of play value, plenty of things for kids to do. Musical instruments. And then it takes us up to the,
Those are gonna be right behind.
to the splash pad. Got the tables that we talked about up on the north side with umbrellas, Adirondack chairs underneath the trees. And then here on the south side of the splash pad, there's, let me scroll it back up for a better picture. It's this bench here with the red, and it has the, like a cantilever shade over it on the south end of the splash pad.
So what's the timeline as to when we need to finalize what options we're gonna go with?
The sooner the better. I mean,
We want to go out to bid by February because that's a good timing. That's good timing to go out, I think.
like Bennett said, prices are only going up, so the earlier we get in any kind of orders, the better off we'll be.
So maybe they could toss it back to Capitals and on January 12th and talk about it and then have a
And
recommendation.
coming out of that meeting, just see if you can get a consensus on there that night or at your committee of the whole
Yeah.
to move forward in January, or at least to give direction.
And then if you have questions in between, now and then, we can, help answer those.
Basketball courts, exercise equipment. There's three stations with 6 different exercises, and then there's also exercise opportunities utilizing the benches that will be placed around the path that goes around the entire park. And that's it.
Does the soccer field move?
No.
So where it's striped now, it'll stay? This year?
Yeah, I think it's bigger.
It's pretty cool.
It's a full-size soccer court, 11v11.
I just thought maybe you'd have to move it with the large, I guess you're right, because on that west side, there's a lot of room there.
So on the basketball court, do we normally, I don't know what kind of activity it gets there, but is it normally set up for just people shooting shots, or do people come there and play full court basketball?
Well, it'd be set up for.
I know it's set up for full court.
Right.
I'm saying, is that typically what we see the people coming out? Are they
When it's
playing full
warmer
court
weather.
basketball, or is it mainly just people shooting shots or half court,
Oh, no, when it's nice out, they'll play games.
full court?
And the backboard material?
It'll be on the left,
Sorry,
the
it's the
acrylic
acrylic.
style. I don't know why she put the one on the right on there. It'll be that clear
It's
acrylic.
actually, you can see it.
Back style.
It's acrylic, it's clear.
And refresh my memory as far as where we are on lighting. Did we talk about possibly lighting this
We did not,
This
not as
field
part of the
this
project.
capitals? Did they discuss that at all?
No, we did not have a consensus moving forward at one of our committee of the whole, so we have
Okay.
not, so we could talk about it with staff at our next capitals meeting, and then come to the committee of the whole and come up to a consensus again.
Okay.
But
I'm just saying
staff
if we-
wants to look at some pricing ahead of time so that it can guide our decision to
Right.
have some lighting options, either for the soccer field or the playground area or the basketball court. Staff make a decision or a recommendation to come back to us, and then we can review it as a team.
Yeah, because we have, there's some big dollars here upgrading the playground. If we don't want to spend it necessarily to upgrade, we may want to spend it somewhere else on lighting or something else. So if we did have some numbers on that, it would help.
Okay.
And the other thing I know we've had some discussion about, or I've talked to a couple of you guys about, is a large demand for pickleball courts. And having staff look at, we talked a little bit about, you change the tennis court, or tennis courts we want to change or flip, or are there some other areas that, what would be a good location for, if we were to at some point add a pickleball court somewhere, what would be a good location? And should we consider it in this year's budget somewhere, because I know they're not hard to put together, it's just a matter of what would be the best location. I know there's some room, even on this plan here, that we've left open for future, maybe putting a building, if we wanted to put a structure there, but that's not gonna happen for some time down the road. You can even look at Marshall Park adding one on there too, I don't know if that's too much on there. But maybe have some idea of what would be a good location. And
I have a location. Mead Park, and the inline rink.
Okay. So if staff could kind of look at that and add that with capitals.
Yeah, that's just
Sure.
color coding, if the board agrees, that's color coding and buying the nets, so that's pretty quick.
How many more courts is it?
You can put as many as you can fit. I don't think we
I
get,
think it's, how many are?
I think we can get
6.
6,
I think
We have
it's
6 at
4 that'll
Rainbow.
fit in
Oh,
there. It's
4,
a-
okay.
It's a
It's
smaller.
smaller.
which isn't ideal, but Bernie will be okay.
All right, Ben, you're invited to the capitals meeting.
Yeah, so if capitals, okay. Look
No,
at
I
that.
was just gonna show up
I
anyway.
know you are.
Okay, any other comments about it?
Thanks, Bill, appreciate it.
And Mark, are you done, or I don't know if you...
That's all I
I
have.
got an invitation.
Any other questions from the commissioners on the drawings or plans, or do we want to give capitals any thoughts off the top of your head as far as the larger structures?
Not to exceed no.
I like the last one.
Oh, not to exceed it, okay.
No, the last slide.
So, and just to clarify, looking, I'm going back and looking at this, the Oz plan, the first one you showed that they put in the original plans before we told them we want something bigger and better. What's our budget with that if we choose that option? Because the other ones you have, it's additional X amount of dollars
On top of it.
on top of it, but where are we as far as, if we do the original item, where we are on budget-wise total?
So go to your
So the,
detail tab on this
the
one.
front page is at,
3139894.
right. But then,
I'm sorry, that's the last page. Keep going. Yep, there. Pink.
Okay, so 3,139,894?
correct.
Okay, so that's the, on our summary sheet, that's the total cost there. Now, what's the OSLAD cost? We have that.
That was for 400,000. The grant,
Yes.
400.
Right, but what you have.
So they don't, so Brad, you want to explain how you do that? Because we don't put that amount on, this is their budget. And Brad can explain why he, his accounting reasons why what he does.
Yeah, so the way how we account for it is all the expenses are the district's expenses, and then the grant that we receive is revenue. So the net effect would be what we were looking at for the net total cost of the project, but this would be our expense line item.
Which one would be the
The
three?
3.139,
That's our cost.
895 would be
before
our
or after.
cost, and then we'd have revenue in the capital fund of $400,000.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so we're all looking at the same thing. Any other questions?
I just have one comment. It came up in the public hearing about putting a fence along the parking lot where the apartments are. The cost to do that, they added as an alternate. It's something I want the board to consider. We don't have to make it part of this overall project. Maybe it can just be a capital project on its own. So if you look at the summary, it's a fence at south parking lot. So you know where the apartment complex is? I want to prevent people from parking there and just jumping on the, I want them to come into the park because the homeowners have asked for that too. So it's something I'd like the board to consider.
So-
Is there a fence there? What's there?
No, there's nothing there right now.
So you want a fence?
It's like an ornamental 5-foot, 4-foot fence.
Aluminum,
It's just to,
black aluminum
it's to
fence.
deter people from parking
In the condos.
in the condos and coming into the park that way.
But what happens when the kids in the condos want to go to the park?
There'll be a gate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Or just do your fencing. I don't know, I get what you're saying.
it came up and I told them I'd look into it and that, so I
Can't we
think,
build a fence if there becomes a problem?
that's what I mean. We could make
Build
it,
before we anticipate a problem.
well, I know that this was this was feedback from residents, 100% in the public hearing. And I want to, I think it's important. It's just separation. It's so they can't just come and park and hang out in the parking lot. It's to push people into the
Real park.
real park off of Chelmsford. Again, it can be a separate capital. It's just, I think we can get better pricing, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other director report, Tiffany? Everything?
I'll let my December report stand as is, but, you did have a question about tube inventory. I did get those numbers for you. Our end of summer inventory was 87 total tubes, and we recently ordered 190 additional tubes, so we'll start out the 2023 season with 277 tubes.
Tube gate has been said.
And do you know what's the max capacity?
There is not a set max capacity because the tube's there for multiple areas between the bodies, or between the slides, the tube slides and the lazy river. But we have we can have approximately 100 to 120 tubes out at any given time.
Okay.
So.
Sounds good. Any other questions about Tube Gate? Okay, Kelly, you got anything for us? Go around.
I do, actually. I've got, I did prepare just some highlights from the month, but one of the biggest accomplishments is if you have been down Reverend Morrison Boulevard, we have installed the Rainbow Falls digital sign. It was complete yesterday, so, and it is running today. So that is up, and so I just want to give a big shout out to Mark. He was very instrumental in getting that project to fruition. So we're really excited to have that, and it'll be a great message board for Rainbow Falls, as well as a lot of other things that are going on in the community. So that is happening. Today I had the privilege, I worked with the Rotary Club, and we served lunch to all of the Sheila Ray Adult Center members. So I think I'm not 100% sure, I think they had close to 100 people there. And we served them a turkey dinner, and it was sponsored by the Rotary Club of Elk Grove, so that was really nice. And then we also had received a recognition through Illinois Parks and Recreation Association, as the Elk Grove Park District will be receiving in January the award for the exceptional workplace. And so we're really proud as a organization to have received that, or will be receiving it, and it really makes our park district stand out as a really great place to work. So as Brad often mentions at these meetings, we do have a lot of different positions available, and will be recognized in January as being that exceptional workplace. And then the last thing I wanted to say, I know it's always hard to find that perfect gift for a special person this holiday season, and you can go to our customer service desk at the Pavilion or Hattendorf, and you can purchase gift cards for the holidays for your friends and family, and you can use these gift cards to go toward memberships for possibly like a senior membership for the Sheila Ray Center, or a membership for fitness, or even just a Pirates Cove membership even, or just a dollar amount that you could give to somebody toward activities at the Park District. And you can also purchase gift cards for the golf course as well. So these are great gifts for this holiday season. So make it easy on yourself and stop by the Park District to do your holiday shopping.
Okay.
So a gift card from the Pavilion could be used at the Fox Run?
It's a separate gift card. So it's not a universal gift card. You need to purchase a Fox Run gift card or an Elk Grove Park District gift card. So they're two separate gift cards. So thanks for clarifying that.
And Brad, just so you know, your staff at the golf course says that if you buy a gift card at Fox Run, sometimes you can't use it for the bar, you can only use it for the pro shop, so it's not, you might have to look into that. That's what they've told me, that I've used a gift card there just to pay for food or drinks, and they're like, oh, we can't do this here. And I'm like,
They might be referencing a process. You can use it for golf or food and beverage, but there is a process with the two different POS systems, some things that they have to go through. So yes, they might have to go check the balance. If you're using it for food and beverage, you might have to go check the balance at a different site. So yes, you can use it for both, but it's not as clean as we would like it, or as efficient. There is a process that needs to be gone through.
and Kelly, I'm good for Christmas.
Just saying.
Okay, Brad, you got anything?
No, I think everyone covered it.
Okay.
I do.
Ben? Okay, we'll let you talk.
Thanks. The directors send me a list of their accomplishments. I'm not going to read all of them. I just pulled the short list. So I just tried to capture some good things that happened in 2022. The first one, commemoration of Souder Point at Morton Park with installation of the shade structure and picnic area. In conjunction with Morton Arboretum, the Udall Tree Planting Project added 22 trees to Udall with an additional 34 to be planted in the spring. Completion of Audubon Skate Park entry. Program revenue, leisure services I'm talking about, saw an increase in all areas in 2022. great accomplishment. Extremely successful summer camp season. We increased participation by 2,700 participants compared to 2021. Rainbow Falls had an outstanding season, reaching almost $1 million in gross revenue. The redesign and construction of Haddendorf customer service desk and workspace. The new monument sign that Kelly mentioned at Rainbow Falls Water Park, certificate of achievement in financial reporting. And lastly, the Fox Run is on track, Fox Run Golf Course is on track to do the most golf rounds since 2009. Nice job.
You better bring that to your review after this.
And we do have changing tables in the ADA stalls at Fox Run.
Okay, great.
Both.
Do we have to put did we have them in there? Or did
Yes, no.
Oh, they were in there.
They were all,
They were all, yes.
Okay.
I didn't have that.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions? Okay, old business. New business. Adoption of resolution 22-03, a resolution establishing the schedule of regular meetings for 2023 of the Elk Grove Park District.
So moved. Second?
Okay, any questions? We are still gonna meet at 7 o'clock, 7 PM is our standard meeting time on the second and fourth Thursdays. Okay, any roll call, please?
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Next is adoption of ordinance 431, an ordinance for the levy and assessment of taxes of the Elk Grove Park District and the Board of Park Commissioners of the Elk Grove Park District, Cook County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning of January 1st, 2022, and ending December 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, any discussion, questions? Roll call?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes?
President Cook?
Yes. And lastly, adoption of ordinance 432, an ordinance abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2022 to pay debt service on $6,160,000 of general obligation limited tax bonds, Series 2020B of the Elk Grove Park District, Cook County, Illinois.
Second?
Questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Okay, payment of the bills. Need a motion for payment of the bills for November 2nd, 2022. P cards in the amount of $169,605.39. For November 10th, 2022, the amount of $1,567,551.11. November 17th, 2022, the amount of $169,249.55. And December 1st, 2022, the amount of $237,620.75.
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or discussions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Okay, and I guess this will be the last time we're gonna meet until next year, so, it's a little early, but I wish everybody a happy, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. And, like Ben said, it was a great year. We're out of COVID, people are coming back and using the facilities and programs, and we're just gonna continue to grow that momentum. I know there's still a craving for people to be outdoors and be involved in activities after being cooped up so long, so, looking forward to next year, and having a great year, and enjoy the time off with your families and friends.
Christmas lights is part of the village. Awesome, Mark. I mean, every year we outdo ourselves along with the village and the library, so a lot of people talk about that regularly, so.
It got bigger this year, didn't it? Did we do more or just different spots?
I think it's the same, but.
It's pretty
No,
cool.
They do a little bit. Next year, we're gonna do more.
Just a little. To the even this season.
Yeah, for sure.
They work really hard at it, thank you.
Okay, so next is an adjournment to closed session for the purpose of discussing the purchase or lease of real estate for the use of the public body per 2C5, and then we'll reconvene to open session and take any action that we might need after that. Can I get a motion, a second?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, roll call?
Commissioner Wells?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bietti?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes. Okay, we are adjourned to closed session.
I have a question.